Hi, welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon. Here we talk about stories that inspire and ignite your spark. Before I continue, may I invite you to click that follow or subscribe button. Please subscribe to Life Expressions on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Today, we're diving into one of the most essential ingredients of success: team building. Whether in the workplace, in your community, or in life, great teams don't just happen. They're built with trust, communication, and heart. And I'm so glad that joining me today is Gabriela Madar. Gabriela is a leadership trainer and career coach who helps organizations break through the barriers of miscommunication, low trust, and disengagement to build stronger, more connected teams. With experience across engineering, crisis services, and entrepreneurship, she blends strategy with human-centered leadership, guiding leaders to understand themselves and their people so teams can thrive. Welcome to Life Expressions, Gabriela.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Lovely being here.
Thank you for being here. Let us start with you taking us back to when you first realized that building strong teams was something you were not only good at, but very passionate about.
I've always been curious about human behavior in my career. When I was promoted to a leadership role and I was working with a team, it was the first time when I realized that I really enjoy working and building something together. The truth is that that team wasn't, I didn't build a team from scratch. It's more like it was given to me, was formed, and there were so many challenges. It was a very humbling experience, but it really ignited that spark that we're just up to something great if we're all working together. So that was the beginning of and the spark that made me so curious and passionate about team building and understanding the power of team dynamics.
Yeah, so what early experiences, whether in your career or personal life,
Mm.
shaped the way you approach collaboration and, as you've mentioned, team dynamics?
I still have to go back to my childhood because I feel like we all have this innate gifts that sometimes they feel so natural and you don't even count. We are not aware of them, but at the same time, they're always there and helping you shine in the workplace. So for me, in every role that I had, it was so easy for me to build trust and connect with people. So that was like either when I was in engineering or entrepreneurship or coaching, in all the roles, it was so easy for me to connect with people and build a trust. Now, what I've also noticed is that I start collecting the puzzles because people would just be very open and share the insights of the things that were not working or working in the team at the time. So I always felt like I have so many insights, and soon enough, I start recognizing the patterns, like what is not working, why we all have the same problems. And most of the time in leadership, it was miscommunication, lack of trust, lack of boundaries, lack of clarity. And it was just so clear for me that if we fix that, we are going to build a much more cohesive and powerful team. So that was the beginning. And I'm just curious, as mentioned, of human behavior. So I want to understand what drives us, what makes us happy, what challenges us, because we are all the same. We have the same fundamentals. We just have different drivers. So once you understand that, it's so easy to connect and work with people.
Yeah, I like that. Once we understand what matters most to a person
Yes.
and the team, that's great, right? In your view, Gabriela, what are the non-negotiables of a strong, high-performing team?
I always start with building safety, psychological safety. For me, that means that team members, they have to feel safe to share and speak their truth, and it's just all work related, of course. So if they feel like they're not safe, if they see a problem, but they're afraid of communicating the problem to their manager, to the leader, that's one of the basic things that if that's not met, the team development won't be as strong and won't be able to build a strong team. Other things that very, very important, I would say that non-negotiable: trust and accountability. And accountability goes both ways. So both the leader and the team members, they have to be in high integrity and keep their word. Sometimes I hear stories from the team members saying, yes, but the leader is just promising this, but is not keeping their promises. It could be a promotion, it could be a change in the system in the team, or some other perks that they cannot keep their promise. And people, they're very, they take it very serious and to the heart. So, and clarity in purpose and roles. It sounds very simple because when you get hired, we all have a job description. We all know what we are supposed to do. At the same time, there's so much ambiguity in the job posting because there's always something extra that you're expected to do. So you have to have that clarity. This is my role. This is what I'm supposed to do. And really understand that. And if it's just a lot of like, oh, yeah, but we are also doing this and that on the side, it creates a lot of frustration in the teams and unfairness.
Yeah, wow, that's so helpful. I love that. And I could relate to that. I am happy to say that in my team, there's really that non-negotiable in the team
Mm,
building because we have that
mm,
a feeling of safety, right? You're safe and you're sure that you can be yourself. You can speak to your leader without fearing what the consequences will be. So I would just like to enumerate what you've said: safety, trust, accountability, and clarity. It's great to
yes.
have that in an organization. So a team would really be built on those.
Mm,
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gabriela. But
yeah.
how do you personally define team success? Is it about results, relationships, both, or something deeper?
Yeah, you could say both or something deeper. So it applies to everything. If we only chase results, and definitely, we all have metrics, and metrics are very, very important. When you get hired, you have some metrics, and that's a guideline. So for me, achieving your quota, achieving the results, and having the metrics, they're very, very important, the guideline. But it's much more than this. And I see it's in motion. Teams evolve together. And it's impossible to only score the result and then check out, go home and check out. And as a matter of fact, if you think about how much time do we spend at work, and maybe that's one of the things that really makes me so passionate about understanding the team dynamics and helping companies to grow their teams and transform them in high performing teams, because we spend more than a third, 90,000 hours, our lifetime at work. So much time. And we have a choice. We have a choice to spend in an environment that is very detrimental, that is toxic, that is not highlighting um, is not highlighting our strengths, our skills. It doesn't give us meaning. It doesn't give us purpose. It doesn't make us happy. Or we could do the opposite. And unless you are a solopreneur or self-employed, most people, they have other people working together. That's the fact here. We work in teams. We work in collaborations. So without that, if you don't have a good team put together, if you don't have a good structure, if you don't collaborate at work, if it's a pain to go to work and you wake up Monday and just like, oh, I don't want to be there, it creates so much negative ripple effects in your work
Yeah,
life, in your personal life, because it's
true.
hard to separate them. So it cannot be only about the results, because it's more about the meaning and the purpose and the relationships and the collaboration. The whole idea behind purpose is to find your place, to find something that spark you, create that spark in the workplace. And I don't want to say only be happy, but it's more meaning, contributing,
Yes.
serving, using your gifts. This is the true meaning, when we think about teams. So it's much more than results. It goes much deeper. It's the connections that you build at work, and the pride that you have when you come home and you know that I've accomplished something great. I feel proud of myself. And that emotions, happiness or sense of purpose, you take it home and you impact your families and your communities.
Totally agree with that. That
Mm,
is beautiful. It is wonderful if you know that you add value to your team, not just about the results, but of
mhm,
course with a culture, with a
mm.
team building, right? Many people think of team building as just activities or retreats, but how do you go beyond that to make it something lasting?
Definitely. I do love team buildings and retreats. Like, who doesn't, right? Everyone likes that day off when you don't go to work and you just go to a separate event, a conference or something that it's just takes you out from the day-to-day work environment, which is great. So we all need that. I think they're great initiatives. The only problem is that really don't go as deep as the team development. So I'll tell you why. You go one day, it's kind of like a perk, like a bonus, right? You take the day off, you relax, you have fun, and you feel great. And it kind of spark a little bit of the connection, but you don't have too much of the understanding of what's happening in your team. Sometimes, the whole department is invited, so doesn't give you the chance to really work through the problems, the challenges. I always start when I work with leaders. I ask them, tell me more about the team. How is it working? Great. John is doing this, John. But then they start, when you ask and you go deeper with the questions, you start realizing there are some challenges. Or if they don't see the challenges, they could perform better. So they could see that, yeah, I could see room for growth. We could have done this and that, but we are just settling for this, metrics or results. So there are always some things that unless you unravel them, you cannot figure them out, because
Yeah.
people, they don't think too much. Work can go as it is as long as it's not the problem. So you don't have major challenges. People, they don't even think about team development. But for me, it's that innovation. So it's much more than that. And we need that. So when you work in a very cohesive team environment, you perform and you create more than you were given. You
Yes.
go beyond your task. It becomes a mission. And I can go back
True.
to you because I'm so impressed the way you attached to the mission of the company, the IFRI, and how passionate you are and how dedicated you are and the way you just involve the whole community. That's the power of leadership. That's the thing that I'm talking about. So going
Wow.
back to the
Thank
team
you.
buildings and retreats, great opportunities, but that's just the beginning. It's just a warm up. You have to understand the value and the possibility, the potential when your whole team works together, starting with the impact of
Yes.
they are happy, and starting with the individual. And how do I go beyond? I'm running assessments, team building workshops, team events, all sorts of, I would say assessments, but not only the assessments, the coaching sessions and workshops that would facilitate this openness, that will facilitate opportunities for them to see each other in a different light and grow
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Let's go to practical strategies and tools. What's your go to strategy for building trust quickly in a new or diverse team?
Can I go with what not to do first?
Of course, please.
Always hear when a new manager
Yeah.
joins the team, takes over a team, I hear from the employee side what frustrates him the most. Don't change a thing. When you first join a team, and I know I get it, because I was in that situations as well. I joined a team, and the first thing I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to show that I'm here to make a difference, that I can make things better. But it's not what you're supposed to do. Same thing like a job. You landed a job, the first couple of months, you have to settle. You have to find your place. You have to build a trusted connection. And that starts with listening. You have to start listening to the people who already have something to say. And you might actually learn something about
Yeah.
how the things are working in the team. So that would what I would say. Don't just try to change things, rewrite politics, bring fire, hire, do stuff like this. Try to understand. And that's one of the most important strategies. But in that order, the good things that you can do is bring some vulnerability moments in the team. I had such a hard time in my first leadership role to be vulnerable. I actually just didn't want to share anything that will make me feel like I'm weak, that I don't know everything about my role or my job. And truth is that I had no idea. But I was just so much bluffing and suffering from imposter syndrome. Because I thought that people are going to figure me out, that I have no idea how to lead. And with that being said, it's just I found that through my career in all the roles, when I became much more open and much more human and sharing this real moments, such a big change. And people, they could relate with me. So you don't have to be the superhuman, right?
Yes.
You don't have to look like you have it all together. And yes, you do have a vision, you have a strategy, you have a plan, but there are moments where sharing the struggle brings and builds much more of the connection than showing that I'm a perfectionist. I never get it wrong. if that
I
makes
love
sense.
that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
You
It's
want me to
great to
share
be
more?
authentic, right? Yes, please do. Those are the not to do, right? Now let's go to what to
So
do.
the vulnerable is there to do. Yes.
Yes.
And so I would say that one for me, when I think about integrity, is like keeping my promise, keeping my word. And it's something that I'm really big on. And then being, like we set up the date for this podcast. We agreed on that. We are mature. We are adults. We keep the promises. Of course, things can go wrong, and I don't think that that's a problem, but I always try to honor my word and keep my promises. It's such a simple thing to keep your
Yes.
promises. As a leader, if you can do that, small promises and keep them and keep your word, you will build trust because people know that they can count on you. I do the same thing with my kids, to be honest. Always teach them, mommy always keeps her promises. So it's something that it creates that value, connection, trust that you know that they have your back.
It is important that people can trust your word
Mhm.
because you honor your word. Whatever you say, they know that you will do it because of what you have done previously, right? Honoring your word.
Absolutely.
I would always share with my friends and even my daughter, do not make promises that you cannot keep, right? Because it's
Exactly.
important to always keep your promises. Yeah. So, Gabriela, how do you approach balancing individual strengths with collective goals? Because each one of us has a core ability. We might be
Mm.
strong in one aspect or weak in another, but how do you balance individual strengths with collective goals?
And that's amazing because basically that's the foundation of team development. As mentioned before, it starts with the individual. So you have a goal, right? In the organization, you have a goal. It goes down to the corporate, and if it's a corporate, of course, it goes to the, maybe this department goal, maybe it's a small team goal, and then it goes to the individual. So it ripples this way. And when I think about how can you balance that, you have to really be curious and understand that you have to know who are your people, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are some opportunities for them, what is the potential there. And it's not that you have to work only with people who are extroverts and you should never have introverts in your team, or you should work only with people who are very empathetic and charismatic, but not so much money driven. If you really want to build a strong team, you have to understand how to build this cohesiveness like a puzzle. Then each individuals have this strength and together they form the puzzle. The puzzle, if they're all pieces the same, there's no puzzle. It's just a mess,
Yeah,
right? The
correct.
puzzle is
Yes.
formed from like corners and different shapes and different images. And that's how I imagine, if you get that puzzle right, and if you understand how to put them together, that's the opening, right? I use one of the assessments like personality dimensions, which is a Canadian tool for understanding communication styles, strengths, weaknesses, and bring them together. And I don't run this individual. I run this as a team development workshop. And I really like to start with that because one thing is to bring that discover more about yourself. And people love it. People love it. We run this workshop and just like, now I know that why I'm doing this. That's my preference. So they love discovering things about themselves. But the next stage is discovering things about other people. And
Yeah.
then we click with the question, just like, now I know why this person, he's always upset with me when I do this, or he feels frustrated, right? So we bring that differences so we can create this understanding and we cherish the differences. And you could see how much of the tensions, it's like 80% diffusing because now you
Wow.
have
Yes.
understanding why are they acting like this. It's just that it goes back to the basics, like what drives us, what do we really
Yes.
want. And
Yeah.
we all want to be happy, but how do we achieve that happiness is different. One person is driven by money, one person is driven by making a big impact. Can we all fit together and bring something and build something together that is just wonderful?
Oh, that's powerful.
Mm.
I love that. Now let's go to leadership and
Mhm.
culture. From your
Mhm.
perspective, what role does leadership play in team building or creating a culture of
Mhm.
collaboration?
well, you know how they say leaders set the tone, right? So leadership set the
Yes.
tone. It does starts with the leadership and how, their responsibility of the basics, like creating that psychological safety, right? And I think that when something goes wrong in a team, we have the tendency to just point out to other people. And unfortunately, if you work with me, I go with the leader and to the leader, and I'm just like, well, let's just unravel what's happening in the team. And it starts with them. It starts with them because if you do something or the things don't go the way you want, instead of pointing to the people, you have to point inwards and said, what type of environment did I create that allowed people not to perform, not to show up on time at work, to be disrespectful? So go back to like what kind of environment you allowed. Were you too afraid to set boundaries? Were you too direct and authoritative that people they didn't feel like they trust you, or they're just, if they have an issue they cannot come with the problem because you made them feel in a certain way? So it always goes back to the leader. That's what I always think that plays such a huge role. And in my programs, I'm very big on this. Two concepts. The number one is finding your leadership identity, personal leadership identity. This is how I call it. And what is this personal leadership identity? It's like me. I went through some toxic leadership experience. I had toxic leadership experiences, as well as I've noticed greatness. I've seen the damage and I've seen the impact. That all shaped the way I see leadership. And if we are not aware of what we already have and the way we lead already and what
Yeah.
kind of behaviors, we already absorbed something from maybe past leaders, the way they were doing the old way. And we think that, yeah, control is great. Urgency is great. Micromanagement is great. Doing everything me and supervising instead of leading is great because you absorbed all of this concept and you are not even aware. So first is just what we have already there. What shaped my experiences, my leadership? How do I see and how do I view leadership right now? Who shaped me? So we go back into kind of, we create this roadmap of personal leadership identity. So that's the number one. The second thing is like understanding new leadership trends. And that has to do leadership change and evolve, right?
Yeah.
It's not a person who has to hold carry the team or the whole team. We call now the shared leadership. So that's huge. That's huge that I've seen in the last decade. We are all shifting into that shared leadership. Like people, if you create that environment that people they're so happy to work for the mission, the cause, the company, because they can use their skills, strengths, they can service, they also believe in the company mission and values, they're going to take it way further than you
Yeah.
maybe even imagined or envisioned at the beginning.
True.
So it takes that away from the burden that you have to do it all and it's only on you through this shared leadership responsibility. So I like to review traditional leadership to the new next level leadership and make the difference. So people, they see that you don't have to have all the answers. That's not the case anymore. You
Yes.
can become better at asking questions.
Wow. That's
Mm.
great. Personal leadership identity and shared leadership. That's
Yes.
creating a culture of collaboration. I truly like what you said that
Mm.
with shared leadership, you can see people performing way beyond your expectation because they have imbibed everything important in the
Mm.
company. How do you help leaders see the value of investing time and resources in team building?
This is a short one. I have to show them the potential. So it's almost like don't be reactive. Don't hire me, my team, when the things are just not working. Hire me when the things are okay, they're going good, but they could go amazing and great. It's trying to fix a lot of stuff. It's almost like damage control, right? But preventing all of this and investing in your people, in their growth, it's a huge ripple effect. It's a huge ripple effect in the community. Again, I
Yes.
go back to the individual. So I have to show them, like, think about this person goes home, he's happy, he's content, again, maybe stay away from the happy, because people just like, I'm not happy, contentment, it's great. Contentment is better than happy. It keeps you there, and it keeps you just, you know what, it's a great work environment, right? It's a great work environment. You go home, you have this good energy. Your kids, they will benefit from that energy. Your communities, they will benefit. You go to the store, you impact the whole world. That's why I'm doing this work, because I really believe that it starts with that individual in that team, and it has this impact and the ripple effect. And why not more goodness? Why not more, joy at the workplace, and
Yes.
connection, and exceeding the expectations? Why not?
Yeah, I love that. Wow. What's one small cultural habit that can transform a team over time?
You know what? I like the small thing. The misconception that leadership, it happens in grand gesture, is it's such a big thing. Everyone thinks
Yeah.
like, I'm a leader now. I have to do something. I have to fight for my team. I've been there. I get it. I wanted, more money, more perks, more benefits, more everything, because you really want to help them, and you know their stories. So you want to make that difference. But to be honest, the small little things, they count the most every time. And I do ask people every time, especially young leaders, I ask them, like, what impacted you the most? And the small little things, like, oh, he remember my name, or he's just, checking with me, how am I doing, and asking me some questions, and he remembers that. Small little things. So what will be a small thing? I call them the micro moments of checking ins every morning,
Yeah.
checking with your team. It doesn't have to be half an hour. So everyone's just like, oh no, I'm wasting time, right? It has to be a quick check in. So powerful, because you're not
True.
surprised then when the things are not going well. Day by day, and get better of asking better questions than, how is your day? How are you doing? We can ask, we can ask better questions. That asking, and the micro, creating these micro moments, there's just small things that you could do in your team, acknowledging people. And
Yes.
I invite, and I've learned in some of the groups that I lead, I invite people to start with one opportunity and one challenge, or a win and a challenge. It's such a small thing, but try this for, a month and see. Ask people when you do the check-in, well, tell me about the win and tell me about the challenge, and see. They might have the tendency to talk more about the challenge than the win, but even the win, notice that,
Yes. That is
capture that.
great.
It's so important.
It's the little things you do
Mm.
every single day, right? The consistency also matters, right? You build the relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
And to go back to that, Shadi, like, I really like, I really like when people, they have, and I've been impacted as well, your company values on the walls, as an
Yes.
artwork. I believe in that. We are visual people. We look at that and it's a reminder. But that's
Yes.
not culture. That's a design. Culture, if you really want to build culture, a healthy, positive culture, impactful culture, that's built with that tiny micro moments, when you acknowledge wins, when you connect with people, when you just really invite them and give them feedback and follow up with that. Nobody's happy. I don't know who came with this 1 year performance review. It's not helping anyone.
Yeah.
It's actually putting a lot of pressure, and people just like, oh, another year, and they hope. Just do it like every month, make a point of connecting with the team members and really understanding what is important for them.
Yeah, I truly agree with that. I love it. This conversation is just amazing, Gabriela. People are learning, and myself, right?
Mm.
Affirming what I truly believe in team development, team building, and collaboration. Having that positive work culture is important, and we thrive when we have that. But I'd like to go personal with you.
Mhm.
Who or what inspires your own approach to bringing
Mm.
people together?
Well, it comes from my own personal, first of all, challenges that I had and I've experienced, as mentioned before, toxic leadership and the power and the control, but as well as I've been surrounded by great mentors and leaders as well. Growing up, I probably the first person that I started, reading his books on leadership and resonated with it was John Maxwell. I really connected with him, with his integrity. And that every time when I saw him, or read his book or saw him on a stage or took a course or a program, it's just, I want to be this person. I want to be this person that triggers other people to be in integrity, but to have fun as well. And just like bringing the best, in the people. So I really resonated with his philosophy. Later on, Simon Sinek, I would say that spoke with the understanding your why and focusing on the why. And it
Yes.
was just like, wow, that's exactly what we have to do. So if there's so many, resources out there, and I would just, when I think about this, I feel overwhelmed because I'm such a book nerd. I love books and taking courses, and I really invest in my personal development. It's my love language. So it's my love language. I have to just
Yes.
have this mentors and access to this lovely books and courses and everything that is out there that is very impactful and can shape, and can make me a better leader as well. But to be honest, on a daily basis, you, Charie, I told, as I mentioned before, people like you inspire me. And I see the best. I absorb their behavior and I see like, wow, like, look at this person, they speak with so passion. They bring this work identity everywhere and they, they create this like community around them because they really truly believe in the mission and what they're doing and they can serve. And I see also the gifts that they have and all this matching together. That's the most inspiring for me. Great leadership examples, they're everywhere, right?
That's wonderful.
Everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing, I'm focusing on finding the goodness. I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing the not so positive aspects of leadership as well. But most of the time I'm focusing on what is amazing, like tell me, what did you do to get there? Tell me your story. So that's the fun part, of the work
Yes.
that I'm doing.
Yeah. I could truly say that you are amazing and truly inspiring at what you do. Every post that you have, even on LinkedIn, like we could
Mhm.
learn so much and be inspired from it so much. So keep on doing what you're doing, Gabriela. And if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice for building stronger, more connected teams, what would it be?
It's a very simple one. And I always encourage people, see the human first, the role second. See the human first. It all starts with humans. We are not machines. We we want meaning. We don't want just a paycheck. Nobody wants just a paycheck. The paycheck, if it's only a paycheck, is not the right job for you. We want that meaning. We want that connection. And with all this, the newer generations right now, they want more of that. So it's up to us to learn how to work together when there's so many, differences in the generations, to work together and respect that sense of purpose and meaning and give them that value that everyone wants to have, in the workplace, to be seen, to be valued, and how we are doing this, it's a process.
Yes, it is a process, a beautiful journey, I might say.
It's a journey.
Yes,
Absolutely. It's a journey. It's so
yes,
rewarding. I feel like when leaders really understand their impact, that's their legacy.
true.
That legacy, and I have a post coming, next week about the return of investment. It's not the quarterly, the numbers. It's your legacy, how you leave people, how you leave the work place, leave it better than you found it. That's a simple concept. But anyway, see the human first, the role second.
A lot of people would love to work with you and learn from you. Where can they reach you, Gabriela?
Well, as you mentioned, my activity, social media on LinkedIn, Gabriela Madar with one L, Gabriela with one L. On my website, it's www.impactivetraining.com, and that's it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this, Gabriela. I truly
Absolutely.
enjoy. Yeah, and I truly enjoyed our conversation. Very inspiring. My guest, folks, Gabriela Madar, gave us true reminder that strong teams are built not just on skills, but on trust, compassion, and shared purpose. When we lead with empathy and collaboration, we don't just create better results, we create communities that uplift and empower each other. Thank you so much for tuning in to Life Expressions. If today's episode sparked an idea or inspired you to build stronger connections, share it with someone who needs a little encouragement today. Until next time, keep shining your light, keep building bridges, and remember, together we grow stronger. Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Thank you.